Hello, traders, warriors. If you've ever just traded S&Ps, you're going to love to talk to and hear Eric Barna. He really exemplifies the fact that I talk about a lot, that you don't have to be in 5 to 10 different markets, that I knew guys on the floor that never left one pit and they knew it like the back of their hand. So specializing can increase your focus, right, Eric?
Yes, it can.
Okay, and I just want to let people know that Eric's a full-time SPX trader. It's not an avocation or a hobby. And he's the owner editor of Double Wide Capital and has a service on Substack. I wanted to ask you, you ever get phone calls from people asking for Jeff Gunlich?
No. Should
Because
I?
because you're cut well you're cut instead of double line it's
Uh,
double wide
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that was kind of a play. I
What
actually have had a friend that back in the tech startup days, and he that was his LLC.
I see.
Not Double Wide Capital, but had Double Wide in the name. And I said,
Okay.
well, that kind of fits me. So
Hey, I've lived in one, so how about that, huh? Okay.
there you go.
So people get into this business and we all say price is king, but we also pay a price
Yeah.
to be a trader. And usually, it's uh, a tuition, a college tuition that you have to go through to take your knocks and learn your best lessons from your failures, embrace them. Why don't you take us back in time to what drew you into the financial markets and what was your first gig in the industry?
Okay. Yeah. So just going all the way back, my background is technology. I
Okay.
came out of high school at the prime time, 81, and the PC was just taking over the world. And I got involved early with the PCs and programming PCs. And but through the 80s, just like everybody else, started the IRA and
Okay.
did a couple trades through I think Merrill Lynch. Paid
Yeah.
that good $500 commission for a couple shares of IBM or something.
Well, I mean, you paid for that impeccable timing and entry
Yeah, yeah,
on that stock, right? So
absolutely. And
so you
bought it.
needed a 10%, a 5% move to break even.
Yeah, and probably paid for a couple bass boats and
Yeah,
a few other
yeah.
things. But
Ah,
so,
the good old days, Eric.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, um, back in 89, hold on just a second. Back in 89, um, back in the CompuServe days, E-Trade came
Okay.
online with CompuServe, and I was part of this newsletter. My dad got me involved in it. It actually worked out well, but the whole purpose of this, and some of your older readers would know this name if you're a retail trader. It was called Bowser Report, and he would highlight two, three stocks, all low cap, buck a share, $2 a share.
Okay.
And
Pink cheats.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Some of them were, and the whole premise of his model was, hey, look, one out of 20 is going to work, but that 1 out of 20 is going to pay for your losses because you're sitting there risking a buck a share, or something like that. So anyway, that was my first trades,
Okay.
self-directed. I think back then E-Trade was like 1995 commission or something
Yeah.
like that. And, it was just continuing with developing startups. My 90s were filled with startups. And
Okay.
uh, the first real success I had in there was a spreadsheet company, PCSG. We had a spreadsheet that competed with Lotus 123 and Excel at the time. Matter of fact, 88 or 87, we tied with Excel for PC Magazine's Technical Excellence Award. And,
That was a good year.
yeah. And
87.
yeah, yeah, it was October. And, just kept on that journey. And then, of course, in 93, 94, was the first real inkling of the internet, in homes. And
Right.
so I jumped on board a startup there. We did,
Prodigy. Prodigy.
no, but we had a browser, internet browser, and
Yeah.
we're competing with Netscape, and
Yeah.
there were so many
Yeah.
back then, and had a little bit early success, raised some money for it, but ultimately Netscape kicked our ass, and that startup shut down, and that was about 94,
Okay. All right.
95.
So, these pink sheets,
Yeah.
you weren't
So,
chart. You weren't charting them. You didn't
yeah.
know how to trade.
Oh, absolutely no.
You
No.
were, you were just going on your boss's calls. And did you notice that were any of these issues that he recommended, were they also doing IR for the companies that they were
No,
promoting?
no. He was
Okay. Well,
he
that's
wasn't
straight.
he wasn't. I do have a story about that in
Because
99,
I
but
know I know that these small companies actually have to go out and pay. I don't know
yeah.
how they do it. They pay people to create volume for them so they
Yeah.
could unload their
Abs-
seasoned shares or free
yeah,
trading,
yeah.
or when they're restricted become unrestricted. Uh, what finally got you into the
So
legitimate world of trading?
so anyway, we eventually shut down the uh, the browser company. Just couldn't compete, couldn't raise money anymore, and I hooked up with a company called Window on Wall Street, and they had the one of the first retail applications. They were competing with Telechart 2000,
Mhm.
those companies,
I remember that.
and what they had was an end of day software. So at 4
Yeah.
p.m. or something, you would download the new data for the day, and you would do your charting at night. And their idea was to bring it real time. And so they hooked up with me and a friend of mine, and who was a Lehman broker. He got his licensing, his broker dealer license, and all that, and we basically created a brokerage, and we brought real time. This was all new to everyone. Level two trading,
Yeah, the
retail,
Souls Bandits.
and the SOS bandits, and the whole bit. And we um, we were doing that software, and then my friend was saying, "Hey, I got this this offer, to run this little boutique hedge fund. It was some offshore money, and so we went over there, and we got our first set of traders. One of them was, I think you know him, Blake Morrow.
Yes,
And
I know.
we were in this firm. We brought in Realtek 3, Townsend Analytics. That was our backbone. We had the DTN satellites on the rooftop.
Boy,
You know
those were big dishes, weren't they?
yeah,
Yeah,
and and
they look
this,
like flying saucers. All right.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
exactly. And of course, about that date, that time,
Just watching the bull flag develop in the
yeah.
S&Ps, it looks like it's not a flag anymore.
No, no, I think we're about to break down
Yeah.
down here at 50. This is kind of my support
You
level
know,
on this.
let me,
I'm out of my trade for the morning, so
all right. All
I'm
right.
done.
So, let's move forward now. So
So
you're
so so we went through this. The money pulled out, and we found some backing to create a company, Centerpoint Securities, and that was where we started developing our own software for day trading. And that lasted a couple of years for me. It was uh, it was fun. It was fun, and I wish I was at a different stage in life, because I think I would have continued to follow through with it. But I was recently married. We had our first kid. I needed some stable income, so I went back into the fray of finding something a little bit more secure, and hooked up with a company in California. And they allowed me to work at home, which freed up from about 8:30 to 11 o'clock in the morning to trade. And I was trading more of a swing style trade, can slim, uh, Bill O'Neill, type of trading. And, so that was really where I started. I was still part time, it was, but it was great because I had a good 3 hours every morning,
So for
that I
people
could
who
trade.
don't remember, Bill O'Neill, behind Investors Business Daily, they used to do relative strength rankings.
Yeah.
That's what they were known for. And you know what? It's still as valid today as it was back then.
It is, and it's just got to be the right market, and it still works. You just got to, have your patience, and
Well,
it was great.
it's important to identify the weak sisters from the leaders so
Yeah,
you know what to short on strength and what to buy on dips,
right. And
right?
that really was, my style of trading. Looking, I was a Momo type of trader. I was looking at, the strength of the sectors, and then finding the strong stocks in that sector. I was, long only.
Yeah.
And so we can fast forward like 15 years now to 2015. And so the company I eventually, hooked up with that company in California, and eventually became a partner in the company. And in 2015, we had our exit. What we did was analytics for consumer data for basically the automotive OEMs. So we weren't into the dealerships. We were selling to GM, to Chrysler, Ford. Every auto manufacturer used our software. And if you ever filled out a JD Power software, or survey, the initial quality studies and
Right.
things like that, we were what the automotive companies would use to analyze your data. And so it was great little business. And we did exit 2015. And, by that time I was 53, 54 years old. And it was, number one, there was no way I could work for another company. So it was, do I start something up, in technology? Do I just see if I could make it, pay the bills with trading, and just get to retirement, and you start utilizing that retirement account. And So I made that decision, and I kind of swapped things around where I would do contract work and consulting for technology, and I was more trading at that time.
Ever blow up an account, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. And this is, I was explaining just the other day how I manage that is I have a separate checking account for my stake, my trading account, and my I use AMP as my futures broker, and what I do is I transfer in just enough money to hold my margin on that account, and so that is kind of my daily stop loss. You know, if I'm going to really get on tilt,
Interesting.
and so
And why is that how you were able to that's
I
like and that's like an important stop, okay?
yeah
That's saying okay, I have to reassess. I'm
yeah
not gonna
yeah
have people revenge trade and
yeah
average out and all the stupid mistakes that I have made. The
yeah
landmine. So this was your discipline. Um,
it
I
was.
think it's a great idea for some people.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that I've been helping somebody really a lot personally lately. And I grew up in the U.S. I played sports, football, baseball, and losing sucks. Winning is great, and so with trading, it's really just the opposite. You're coming into a situation where if you're successful 52% of the time, and you're taking good, even at a 1-to-1, you're going to break even. And so you just have to.
Control the only thing we have control over.
Yeah,
It's
and
the only thing.
it took me trading futures quite a few years to kind of develop that mentality. And what really
Yeah.
helps me is I look at a trade outcome. Number one, once you're in the trade, you're out of control.
Yeah, you're
It's
subjective.
uh,
Unless you have a stop in and a take profit order.
yeah. And you're at the mercy of the market, and you don't know what's going to happen.
No,
We're in that stage again in 18, where all it takes is
tweet.
one tweet from Trump, and you're screwed, and or you're very happy, one of the
Yeah.
two. And so I came up with this kind of idea that a trade has four outcomes. You can win big, you can win small, you can lose small, and you can lose big. And if you could take four out of the equation, so you have three other options, so if you can take out four, you're going to make money in this, trading. It just is. And that is the whole idea behind. I do say it on Twitter. I won't say it on here, but take the effing loss.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're going to lose, and you have to look at it as, even
Costs
if,
of doing business.
yeah, and if you're a 60% trader, out of 100 trades, you're gonna lose 40 of them.
Yeah.
And what you don't know is where those 40 are coming from. Are they coming 10 in a row, two in a row? You don't know. Every trade you take, as soon as you hit that button, it's 50-50. I use historical probabilities, but even if something is a
Uh,
90% historical
doesn't
probability,
guarantee
it's
anything.
50-50. Yeah, it's 50-50 when you do.
So are
And
you, and I wanted to ask you, is that market profile that you're using there?
yeah, so this is market profile
So the
here.
follow-up question is, okay, you began to trade and you're working with people, you're mentoring people, you're
Yeah.
teaching people. Who was in your life to do the same?
Uh,
or were you
two,
self-taught?
no, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
The two probably biggest influences on me were futures trader 71 Morad,
I know who it is.
and of course uh, the king of market profile these days, Jim Dalton. I have taken a few intensives with him. He is still just one of those guys, you take one of his intensives and you're looking at this, and, he'll say, well, it did this, so I'm expecting this. And you're looking at the charts and you're going, there's no effing way. It's going to do this. And sure enough, it eventually gets there.
That's his
And
edge.
yeah, and I mean, he was what,
Yeah.
35, 40 years in this business. And
How
so
long have you been call yourself full-time trader?
the full-time aspect was about 2016. So, I'm coming up
Okay.
on 10 years now.
All right.
And
How many years did it take you to finally make a breakthrough to where you were fairly confident that you could support yourself by trading?
it took a couple years, where you just you got to gain that confidence. And the big confidence for me, which a lot of younger traders just starting out don't have, is I had that retirement account. I had exit money, from the company we sold.
Right.
And so I had more, they say, oh,
Yeah.
keeps 6 months, a year, or something
Yeah.
like that.
You didn't have to make it happen in a day.
Right, right.
Yeah, right.
And, if there's ever a time that my my wife can't withdraw money from the trading checking account, she's going to tell me, hey, you need to
Yeah.
go find a job.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened yet. And
Oh, good for you. All right.
the so it's one of the things that I find is that you get a lot of over trading when you're new. And I'm looking at today. I came into today with the idea of, hey, I may not get a trade in today. It is FOMC, it's quarterly
Yeah.
options expiration week.
Right.
I was just telling my group the other day, I said, if you're a full-time trader, you get 12 weeks of vacation a year. They happen on options expiration week. It's just a mess. And given, the background, the macro that we have going on right now, it's even messier. And it's just not worth, ruining your entire month. I look at each month and go, you know what, there's going to be 4 or 5 days that are going to make my month. And as long as the rest of the days I can hit doubles and singles,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I look at everything on a monthly basis, not a daily basis, not a
So
weekly
are your
basis.
trades more swing, or you day trading or
Oh,
position trading?
100% day trading.
Day trading.
I
Okay.
do want to get back into swing trading, just because I am getting a little bit older. People don't really realize how mentally exhausting day trading is and how frustrating it can be at times. The
Any
people
kind of trading.
Yeah, yeah.
There.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mental drain. And as you get older, yeah, it'd be nice to set some trades. The problem with it is, with swing trading now, it's not really a problem. It's just a different
Element.
you're looking at it a little bit differently. And where I can leverage up on day trading, I gotta leverage down, with the swing trading. And I
Right.
have to set my brain to, hey, you know what, you're probably looking at 35, 40%, 30% success rate, but
Do
that's
you
all
use
you need.
do you use hard stops?
No. Well, I have what's called my, and it's back in effect, my Trump stop. So probably my biggest loss day trading. What I usually do is I will get into a position and I'll have a mental stop once I get into that position. And then as the next couple minutes kind of happen, then I'm looking for the
Outs.
yeah, I'm looking to see where I'm going to place my stop, and then
Well,
it
I tell you
becomes a
what,
hard stop.
you have a stronger psychology than me because the last time I used mental stops, my first stop was a mental institution. Okay,
Yeah,
so most people do not have the. I know a lot of people that don't, and
yeah.
you know, and they're pros, but you know, you read any of the stories, and I've interviewed Jack Schwager several times,
Hmm.
and all of his stories that when people blew up the Wizards, it was because they didn't have a stop, and most of them now will not enter a trade without a hard stop.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
saying it.
yeah,
And
and
these are pros, right? They're wizards.
yeah.
So
So
just
what
saying it.
happened? What happened? It was Trump, first term,
Yeah. Oh,
during the whole China thing. Um, Overnight, the news was that China and America were going to have their trade deal set, and so the market was really bullish.
yeah,
Very, probably something similar, to what happened today. We broke a previous high or something like that, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'll go
Well,
ahead, enter
do
this
you?
trade, and
Mm,
then if I see it trade down below previous high, then I'll just hit flatten, and then I'll see
yeah.
where I'm going to set my stop. And it was within a second a Trump tweet came out,
It,
and it all
okay.
it said was deals off,
Yeah,
and the market just lost the bid. It plummeted 30 points on this trade.
yeah.
And it took me all day to work myself back up to a $10,000 losing day, worst day I ever had. So, what I ended up doing with Trump was I would set a stop far away.
Well, fail
Uh,
safe.
yeah, a fail safe stop. And
Good.
if that hits, it hits. And I just got caught in Trump. And, through 18 and part of 19, Trump tweets, I was 50-50. Uh, 50% of the time, he made me more money than I thought I was going to make. And 50% of the time, I lost more money than I thought he was going to make. So,
Okay. So,
so that's back in effect
mm,
now. And so the so I do have a stop, but it's far away, and
yeah,
then I'll move that stop up as I
got it.
see what the
All right.
market's doing.
All right.
So
I won't worry about you anymore.
there you go.
Okay.
So
So,
so what profile does for me is it sets my levels and it sets my context. I look at
and the VWAP.
VWAP. I love, yeah, and
So
you
as
can
long
see
as we're
this.
above the VWAP, your bias is bullish.
Yeah, so I'm sure Jedi Marcus on X. He was an old floor trader. I love Jedi because we didn't know each other, but we actually grew up not too far from each other in Houston. Didn't know each other, but so he is a Texas boy, and he introduced me to the 21 EMA. So
Okay.
you can see this green line here. It says BGL. And in context is the if the BGL is over developing VWAP, you're more inclined to buy dips
Got
than
it.
sell reps. And but overall, profile sets a lot of my context coming into the day. It gives me my levels that I'm looking to trade, and I think everybody who follows me through the service will tell you he always has a better idea at noon than he does in the morning, and that's because I'm waiting for the
You,
profile
yeah, you
to
need
develop.
you need the action, you need the data
Yeah,
to fill out.
yeah, so I look at the auction as three separate times. I only trade RTH, and I look at three separate times: the morning auction, the lunchtime auction, which for me runs 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central, and then the afternoon auction, which is 1 p.m. to the close.
The power hour.
Yeah, into the power hour. I don't
Yeah,
trade usually the last 30 minutes of the day
yeah.
if I'm not in a trade. And the so the ideas that develop coming into that lunchtime period are, there's things I look for. For example, we did kill the trend day today. The idea would be, if I'm looking at this today, we had a B shape profile yesterday. So if we look at the B shape from yesterday, we had contract rollover, so you have the contract gap. We did, on the first day of the new contract for me was Monday. Nice little, jagged, very short covering looking profile. There was really no balance, multiple distributions, everything. And then Tuesday, we opened drive down into a classic B shape. So this is long liquidation. Got some trap longs from Monday, and but we balanced ahead of the gap close. So it's what I'm looking for here is when I come in the morning, did sellers continue the sell? And if you don't have that sell continue, then you're trapping the shorts here. And so we opened today above value. So this blue area is value. It's 70% of the volume on the day. And if you don't get that short cover or you don't get that follow through selling to start the day, you look for that short cover. And so this morning, if you kind of notice, if I just put a line here, the low today.
Was yesterday's high.
Well, the low today came into value for
Okay.
Tuesday, and there was no acceptance back in Tuesday. So that should keep you bullish. And what I was
Right.
waiting for, and profile itself, excuse me, profile itself isn't a trade entry. It just gives you ideas.
Right.
It
It's
tells
not a
you what,
trigger.
yeah,
Right.
it's telling you what the market's doing. So one of my first trades of the day that I'm looking for is this yellow box. It's your opening 15-minute range. And break above, I use a 2-minute chart. You can see it here. This is where I got long this morning, was on this hold because now I have a pretty easy stop on this.
Yeah.
This is Momo trading. This is a really good indication. These three lows here. Let me make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So that what would that have been like a 3, 4 handle stop, something like that on that dip?
Yeah, so it was a long off in 92.50,
Yeah.
and is almost, I would have let it come back into the overnight high, weekly open. You had, excuse me, you had some support here. But what these 2-minute tails are telling me here is that you got Momo involved.
Yeah.
It's very exacting, one tick on each of those lows on that 2-minute. And so I'm looking for a break of the 15-minute high. There's a couple, there's a couple take profits for me. I trade in thirds
Okay. So you
Uh,
take partials.
yeah.
All
So I
right.
trade in thirds.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Uh, my first take profit is the smallest one, and it's going to be whatever is equal to my stop.
Okay.
And
So then
what
you move it to BE
then sometimes
sometimes. Okay.
I've got to let the trade develop.
Breathe. Let it
Yeah,
breathe.
yeah,
Yeah.
let
Okay.
it just kind of focus in. And once that, I'm looking in this case, my main take profit was just a double of, so if we double this up, copy, move, I'm looking to double that range, the 15-minute opening range. I'll just
Okay.
make this, I'm gonna make it red. Doesn't make sense, but
So you
just
almost
to show
got
you.
that near the highs, right?
Yeah, so that was close to the highs. So I was
Really?
like, okay, well that'll be my main take profit, and then the rest is runners. And what I'll do with the runners is I let them breathe a lot. Sometimes it is, you look like an idiot because you let something come back. In this case, my runners got stopped out at 5706, and that was fine. And there's sometimes that you get these just expansion, even on the 2-minute chart,
Yeah.
where there's no real, I want the market to take me out. And the I don't want something that I'm just looking and saying, you know what, I'm gonna let these runners, and if it comes back a point, then I'm just gonna take it. Because you got to let, for the runners to breathe, you got to let them breathe. And my target on my next level up on this, if we don't get a look above and fail, is going to be this July high, 57.21. This is the top of
Yeah.
it was the July high to
That's
August
about
5th low.
38% back of the decline too, Rick.
Yeah. And so that was my next target. So I'm looking at it and going, okay, if I'm setting my stop at 50, 5706, we were trading up here at the high, that's a 5-point stop, it's 10 points higher, then, fine. Hey, that's 2 to 1. I want to hold that. And the only,
You're right. It's very hard for people to want to risk profits to be there for more and watch those profits disappear. And a lot of it has to do with their upbringing. And if they came from scarcity and they struggled, their parent watch their parents struggle,
yeah,
they are going to have a real hard time because we bring our psychological paradigms into this game with us.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so that you have to overcome. We've gone a little bit over,
yeah.
but I wanted to let you talk, and I can say this, that I've done over 1,000 of these over the years. Okay,
Hmm.
and in the first 10 minutes, I can tell. Um, I know if someone knows,
Yeah,
and so where and I could tell that you're good and you're going to keep getting better. And if people want to work with you, Eric, what's the best way to go about it? Get a hold of you on X or go to your
yeah. On
Substack
they
or how?
can find me on X, double wide cap. Pin tweet gives the information on the Substack and the Discord and all of that.
Okay, and your room is that part of the service for
Yeah,
signing up? Well,
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely. And just to kind of point out here in what we're watching here, if you notice this yellow box, that's your 15-minute opening range.
yeah, it went
And
right back to the bottom of it.
it goes to, it's acting as support. You're over developing VWAP,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're finding that support. So and for me, I'm gonna have to see just a really aggressive push by sellers, and you're not getting there. And so to me, this, where I'm just gonna stay bullish into FOMC, And, you know, until those sellers can get back down under developing VWAP, I'm targeting that 57.21 at the very least. And then up here at 57.32 is the volume point of control, which hasn't been touched yet, of
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
And so that would be the next target action.
Anything above that?
We keep on going. Monday's high, 57.60. Got another virgin point of control.
57.80.
Yeah. And then the ultimately the target for the week, I always look for expansion of the Monday, Tuesday RTH range. A 50% expansion is usually a 60, 65, 70% historical probability. So, you know, you're just kind of expanding out of that Monday, Tuesday range. And we got FOMC. So I'm certainly targeting that. It's about, I want to say 55 points over Monday's
Yeah.
high or 55 points underneath Tuesday's low, you know, by the end of the week. So, you know, another expansion of this weekly range. So that's what we've
Okay.
got going on.
All right.
And
Well, you know, you got through an interview with me interrupting you because, you know, if I hadn't, it would have been a monologue. Anyway, Eric, you know, getting through an interview with me makes you my trading warrior brother.
all
You know,
right. I
from now
appreciate it,
on,
man.
and check out Eric, especially if day trading is your thing. He's got a lot of great tools. No one has the holy grail. The
No,
secret to trading is not any particular indicator. It's hard work, a lot of screen time, and living through adversity. I'm giving you the not the blue sky, but the true sky. And
it's
if that scares you, find something else to do.
it's like I always say, you know, this is the hardest way to make easy money.
That well, you know, when I was 22, a broker pulled me aside and said, "Kid, this is a tough way to make an easy buck."
Yep, it
And
certainly is.
he was certainly right. So,
Yep.
Eric, really a pleasure meeting you. I'm glad our paths crossed, and a very interesting methodology that you use. And uh, I hope you have a great 2025. I'd say let's have a good decade this year.
Sounds great.
All right, Eric Barna, everyone, and this will be on video. I'll shoot you the link, Eric, and find him on X at Double Wide Capital.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right,
Dale.
Eric. All right,
Bye.
buddy. You're welcome. Adios, everyone. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings.